you have to be selfish to be a good leader. That's a controversial opinion. Well, a lot of people would argue that a leader puts their team before themselves, and that in order to lead, you have to take on all the responsibilities and work harder than everyone else. And don't get me wrong, I think leaders should work hard, and obviously they should set the tone, the rhythm, and the ethic with which everyone works. However, you don't have to sacrifice yourself, your mental health, or your physical health in order to be a good leader. Some people, especially in our parents' generation and in our boss generation, would argue that to be a good leader, you have to take on all the burdens and do it all yourself. But actually, that is not the way to go. Let me give you an example. Just like business leaders, mothers are leaders, and parents are leaders. If a marriage doesn't put their relationship before their children, then their children will witness a relationship that is broken and that is unstable, and they will take on that instability and project it onto their behavior and onto their own feelings. However, if you prioritize putting your marriage, your relationship with your partner first, then you have a safe base and a stable leadership and relationship for the child to look up to and to be directed by. Another example that we women are really guilty of is sacrificing ourselves as mothers, thinking that it is that way that we are going to be the best mothers possible. However, many studies have proven that the happiness of a child and their success depends on one factor only, and that is the happiness of their mother. The happier a mom is, the happier their child will be. Really, because like Michelle Obama said, kids only want our gladness. We only want to make our parents happy, and a child is uplifted by the happiness of their caregiver. Following that logic, a mother is taking care of her child by taking care of herself. When she puts herself first, when she goes and attends a gym class, when she goes out with her friends, when she puts herself first, she goes to a spa night, when she takes 30 minutes out of her busy day to just sit in the window and hear the noises and meditate, she's actually taking care of her child, because being able to settle down and taking care of her own needs is going to make her available for her child later. She's going to be patient, she's going to be more at peace, she's going to be more fulfilled, and so she will be able to give back to her child more because she has taken care of putting into her cup before she puts out into others' cups. You first have to fill your own cup and then fill out others' cups. You cannot pour out from an empty cup. It's like that saying in the airplane when people say that you have to put on your mask first and then after another person's dependent mask. The same goes for leadership. If you as a leader are not able to take care of your physical and mental health to the level that you are impatient, you are being angry, you are not able to regulate your own emotions and your own needs because you can't stop working and you think that is what leadership looks like, that is not the way to go. That is a completely unsustainable rhythm of leadership. You will end up burning yourself to the ground. And that is what has happened to many of our parents and our bosses. They think that taking everything on themselves, doing everything is the way that you should be a leader. However, our generation has realized that with higher emotional intelligence comes a higher tuning into our own needs. And we know when we need to stop. We know when we can keep going. And we know what we need if you have done the work to get to know yourself and get to know how to fill your own cup. Therefore, by putting yourself first and by taking care of yourself first, you're actually taking care of your team. You're taking care of your company, your organization. And by demanding that everyone takes care of themselves first, everyone is taking care of others. As leader, your team depends on you, on your well-being. If you stretch yourself so thin that you cannot support your own team, then your team falls apart. Therefore, it is the most important base for your team that you are okay. And in our parents' generation, some people would call that selfish, but that is actually the most sustainable long-term form to work. Therefore, the role of a leader is to know where everyone is going, direct, cheer on, remind of the mission, delegate, organize, reflect on the mission, where are we going, work strategically on partnerships, have the broad vision and the small vision to be able to coordinate everything to move forward together, but not burning themselves to the ground. The role of a leader is to take care of the entire organization, and for that they first have to take care of themselves. So do not fall for the trap that if you are a good leader, you will take on all the work and you will work until midnight and you will work on the weekends and you will never take a break and your mental and physical health will go to the drain, and that's the way that it has to be because you are the leader and that it is what it means to lead. Disclaimer, I am not saying that leaders shouldn't work hard at all. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that leaders should work smart and should set the tone and the rhythm, but shouldn't burn themselves to the ground. They shouldn't be working 16-hour days for continuous periods. They shouldn't have caffeine be the only thing sustaining them and keeping them awake. They shouldn't be relying constantly on pills to calm their anxiety or on being sedated in some way because they can't control the thoughts in their mind. That is a recipe for disaster because that team is going to crumble as soon as the leader steps out as well. On a second note that comes attached to this, the role of a leader is to build other leaders. If you are an effective leader, you are not scared of giving away power, of giving away leadership, of building other people around you. If you are an ineffective leader that leads through anger, through punishment, through fear, then you will be scared of giving away power because you don't trust the people around you. So you think that once that you turn around, people are going to say bad things behind your back, that they're going to use your funds for other purposes, that the company's going to be taken over, hijacked, and you're going to be kicked out of your own organization. But if you are a leader that leads by trust, you build other people around you, you give them advice, you counsel them, you coach them into being leaders of themselves, into taking care of themselves, into being the best version of themselves, into following their dreams, into looking at their skills, into exploiting their full potential, then you will not be scared of stepping outside of your business and also delegating tasks onto others. Not only because that way you will be able to free up your calendar, but also because you're building other people's skills and you're being able to hand over responsibility. So, to wrap it up, good leaders are not selfish. Good leaders know their boundaries. They are emotionally intelligent, emotionally available. They take care of their bodies first, of their mental health and physical health first, because they know that this is the base of their company and that everyone around them is actually depending on them taking care of themselves so that they can lead their team in the most effective way. And second of all, good leaders build other leaders. They delegate power, they delegate tasks, they delegate and they do it efficiently, and they build other people into being the best versions of themselves. And that is how they get a winning team that trusts them and that they can move together towards the goal that they all have together and that the leader is leading them all towards. Anyways, that has been everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more content from me on leadership, project management, and international sustainable development, then check out my channel down here and subscribe if you want. Yeah,